Do I look like I just woke up from a really long nap? Because I just woke up from a really long nap. I'm so blue. I just realized I never closed out yesterday's video. So I did my reading. It was really, really scary. I like wasn't nervous about it at all until like the hour before it was gonna start, and then I started, you know, sweaty palms, shaky, and then I had a lot of chewing gum. This is totally random. I had a lot of chewing gum before the reading, and sometimes that makes me burpy because, like, you know, bubbles get trapped in the gum, blah blah blah. And so I was like burpy, and I was like, oh my god, I have to hold it in for this reading. And we only were reading for 2 minutes, but it was too, like, I think there ended up being like 50 something people like in the Zoom call. And so I was like, I had my mic down, and I was like the whole time telling myself, first of all, to make sure I was under 2 minutes, because otherwise we were gonna get scolded, but also don't burp, don't burp, don't burp. And I'm happy to report I did not burp, but it was scary. What else did I want to say? I want to thank so much my mom, my mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, my father-in-law, and my husband for coming to my reading. I felt like a kid with a spring concert, but it was so exciting. And Zach even got me flowers. He got me chocolate. And it was just, oh, it was cute. It was really fun. And everyone did such a great job. Like, everyone's stories were so fun. And a lot of people actually read stuff that isn't what they were workshopping on. So it was cool to hear other people's work like that. So thank you guys so much for coming to my family. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It meant so much to me. It's Saturday now, but yesterday, Friday, was a very exhausting day. It was my last day of my workshop, and by the end I was tired. I fell asleep after my reading really hardcore. I did it again today, that's why my hair's messy. But yeah, I've just had such a fun experience such a fun experience so far. Words. And I'm really glad it all ended up working out, because I don't know, even just this 1 week has just been so exhilarating, and it was that motivation I have really needed. Like, I've been trying to self-motivate myself all quarantine and trying to get my head back in the game, but this week, like, this has done it. And thank God, like, I finally need to start like doing this. So yeah, and I do want to thank you guys too if you're watching these videos, because filming these every day has also gotten my head pretty much heavily back in the game as well, and it's been really fun. And I haven't edited them yet, obviously, but I've really enjoyed filming them, and I'm really excited to upload them. So yeah, okay, it's what day is it? Day 6, Saturday of my workshop. Today was officially like I feel dead. It's just such long days. It's now, I think, 7:30. Woke up from a nap. Today was really exciting though. We had the authors panel. So we had 4 debut authors who were all signed, I think, with the big 5 publishers. We're talking Simon Schuster, Little Brown, which is not one of the big 5, but they're part of the big 5, and I'm like not knowing which one. You know what I'm talking about. And in the morning we went over sort of the landscape of publishing, which, to be honest, a lot of it I already knew, because I love to procrastinate writing by looking into publishing. It's like my MO. So a lot of it I did know, but I always just enjoy hearing people talk about it, especially the debut authors. They each shared their experience, how they got where they did. And I did learn a lot there. 3 out of the 4 of them had actually gone through 2 agents, or I guess went through 1 and switched before they sold their book, which I had no idea how common it was to switch your agent. Which was kind of alarming. Like, I mean, not alarming, but just was like, oh boy, like, I'm so terrible at confrontation. I would not know how to switch an agent. But I guess it's just a lot more common than I thought. And I mean, I kind of understand why people don't really talk about it, especially publicly. And one of the people was someone who had taken classes in my program. I don't know if they said they like did my program, but they took classes at the school. So that was really cool too, to like see a graduated student. And it's just like, oh, I like wrote down in my notebook, this is totally extra, but I was like, dream, one day return to this agents and editors weekend as a panelist. And then I'll feel like I made it. So it was really, really cool. And I this was the one day I started to feel a little sad that it's not in person, because I guess typically, you know, it'd be more like a standard panel, and they would like kind of be sitting up there, and then we would have had the chance to buy their books at the end, and we still got links to their books, but I don't know, it's different when you like can get it and get it signed and just have that really fun experience. I love book talks, and so that's kind of how it felt. But instead of talking about the book, they talked about their journey as a writer and as an author, and that just was really cool. But yeah, so that was the afternoon, and then in the morning, like I said, we talked about the landscape of publishing, and I told Zach afterwards, I was like, I always just really love when our professors talk about this to us, if anything, just because it makes me feel like they just have every faith in the world for us that this is going to be our next step. Like, so much when you search up like how to publish a book traditionally online, I don't know about you guys, but I was always encountering like, you know, don't get your hopes up, it takes a really long time, not everyone gets published even if they're the best writer, like they might never find an agent or never get a book deal, and that's very discouraging. And while there might be truth to that, my classes always just make it seem like so logical, like, oh yeah, like after you're done, you know, you'll query an agent and then you'll publish a book, and that's that. And it just feels really cool to be believed in just so effortlessly like that. I was saying to Zach too, I was like, it's a little bit though of a, you know, success bias, because all of our professors clearly have been successful, so to them it is so like, oh yeah, this is what you do next. But anyway, it just makes me feel really excited for the future, and just to think this is in my near future, like I'm gonna start querying within the year. That to me is just so exciting. I can't get over it. And then I did have to share, I got today the world's best compliment, and I didn't realize how much I was gonna enjoy this compliment until I got it. My professor, who I had this week during our workshop, that critiqued our work along with us and like guided the workshop discussions, she sent me her feedback on my story, and one of the things that was really exciting that she said was that she didn't really have any big changes, just some little things that she thought I could be improved on. She thought it was very polished, and it was like, I've never heard those words before. But she said, like, oh my god, like I was reading it and literally my heart started pounding, I started shaking, because it was the absolute best compliment I think I've ever gotten in my life about anything. She said that she actually showed it to her, I think they were 9 and 11, I'll have to double check the ages, nephews. Like, she gave it to them because she was curious what they would think, like, because they're the, I mean, it's young adult, so it can be a little older, but certainly young adult, middle grade, you know, blends a lot, and so it definitely would be part of my targeted audience. And so she gave it to them to read, and they both read through it, like they finished it, like, I mean, and it was like, you know, 1 or 2 chapters, and afterwards they were like, oh cool, like what is this book, like we want to finish it, we want to read more. And she had to tell them like, oh sorry, it's not out yet. And just, she said that they really loved it, and I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, these are my 2 favorite children in the world, I don't even know them. Like, I was so unbelievably touched, and just, that just was the best compliment. Like, they had absolutely nothing to gain by saying that. You know, they didn't meet me, and if they didn't like it, she probably just would never have told me that she did that. But I like am still in shock about it, because up until this point, it's only been adults reading it. And so I'm hoping I've got the target age satisfied, because, you know, I read a lot of middle grade and young adults, so I'm trying to make sure I'm staying consistent with what they would be interested in, and in that voice, and in that market, blah, blah, blah. And to just get I mean, there's only 2 kids, but to get confirmation. And she said she even, you know, afterwards was asking them elements about it to make sure, like, to see how much they really grasped about it, but, you know. And she said that they didn't have any confusion, like they completely could tell back to her what happened, who the characters were, what the story was, so they were fully taking it in. And just, like, I'm like, so, I don't think I've even fully processed. I am so giddy about it. Like, it just filled me with such happiness to think, like, I mean, this is my dream, like my dream. And lately I have been leaning more towards wanting to explore middle grade or older middle grade or younger young adult grade, so because sort of like that middle school, early high school age, because that's when I fell in love with reading, and that's when I needed stories the most. And so I would love to focus on that age as a writer. And to just think like there are 2 kids out there at least who want to read my book is just the best feeling. And I haven't responded to her yet, but I'm gonna tell her. I'll be like, you know, when this thing gets published, like, they will get their 2 copies, don't you worry. Like, I'm so honored. I just can't believe it. And I mean, I think she knew too. Like, telling me that was like the best compliment. Like, I'm just absolutely getting over it. I know nothing about these kids, but I am just so. And two, the other point, that's because I've kind of like had a little bit of concern about this. You know, I'm a girl and my main character is a boy. And so I have had some like worries, like, you know, am I doing a good job, convincing job being a boy, having a boy main character, main protagonist? And I mean, if they liked it, it sounds like they didn't have any problems with it. So that's also a little reassuring. It's a lot reassuring. Because at the end of the day, like, I'm gonna get a lot of critiques. I'm gonna hear from agents, editors. I might have beta readers, you know, do all that, but they're gonna be adults, and to have feedback from the actual target age, that's what counts. Like, that's what I want. And I am just still reeling from it. Like, I can't get over it. I am so happy. Oh, but it was funny. So, you know, they asked, like, can they have the rest of the book? And she had to tell them, like, oh, unfortunately, she doesn't have the rest of the chapters. And I just started laughing, and I was like, girl, me neither. Like, I don't have the rest of them either. I guess I should write the rest of the book, or rewrite the rest of the book. I have the first draft, but I tell myself that as a way to calm myself, but let's be honest, I have to rewrite the whole thing because so much changed and the first writing wasn't great. So just wanted to share. That was today. Today was a great day. I'm exhausted. I took a really long nap. But tomorrow is the big day as far as it's Editor's Day. It is the day they are going to be telling us if they would be interested or not, hypothetically. So obviously we're speaking with agents, and we were told, you know, there's no rule, but we can pitch to them if we want. And I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, I do know how to do that. I literally took a class in that, but at the same time, it's like, oh, I don't want to do that. Mostly because it's not done. So. But it would be cool if someone read it and they said, like, hey, when you're done, you know, feel free to query this to me. Like, that would be cool to hear. That's like my dream situation. If I can hear those words, that would be amazing. But I don't know. I don't know if that will happen. So, and then I don't think I've talked about what is going to happen for the next 2 weeks. So I'm in the 7-day long intense workshop, writing workshop. But then the next 2 weeks, every Tuesday and Thursday, I have a 2-hour like mini workshop, mini classes, just to sort of see it through. And that's when we're going to sort of, most importantly, do the edits of the chapter we submitted, of the work we submitted at the end. So that's what's due at the end, like rework it based on the feedback we've gotten. But also, because this is like an author publishing journey workshop, next week, I think it's next week, is what we're focusing on, is query letters. Finally! Like, for a lot of my classes, I've had query letters as a part of it and like gotten feedback on it, but never like extensively. It's always just been like a throw-in, like a homework assignment, like write a query letter and we'll go over it. It hasn't been the focus of the class, and that's what next week is about. It's the actual focus. It's the query letter. It's about pitching. It's about getting published. And I am so excited because the 2 professors, I don't think I've even mentioned anything about them. They're very successful people. Like, one works for HarperCollins, or not works for, sorry. She works for Harvard, but she is an author herself under HarperCollins. And I'm so sorry, I forget the credentials of the other one. Obviously also works for Harvard, but she's also published herself. And so they're like, you know, they know. They're in the thick of it. And yeah, and one of the professors herself is the editor at Harvard Review, which is the magazine that goes out. I think I've got that right. I only work there. Not like I should know. But yeah, it's getting dark, so I'm gonna go so I can enjoy somewhat of a walk, because that walk I took with you guys, I've done one other walk, but that's it. That's as much as I've gone outside, which has been really depressing. But today I'm not looking for, it's so hot today. It was in the mid 90s, I think. Like, I'm in the bedroom right now with the air door closed. I've only been talking for 13 minutes, so I've been cut off from AC for 13 minutes and I'm starting to die. Like, it is so hot. And it's already like almost 8 o'clock, so. But I need to get out of the house even if it means sweating. And I wanted to do this update before I do that because, you know, then I'm gonna be sweaty, so. Alright, that's my update for today. I will see you guys tomorrow, and if I come on here crying, that meant that the editing thing didn't go well. I'm just kidding. I mean, like, my soul will be crushed, my writer's ego will be crushed if they are like, they would pass on it, but they're also gonna give feedback on why, so that will be extremely valuable, and that is pretty rare. Like, that's not something you typically get. You can't even hire someone to tell you that kind of information, you know, like how you could hire an editor, but they're not gonna really necessarily critique it like that. So it's a pretty like unique experience that I'm getting, and I am gonna be extremely thankful no matter the outcome, even if it hurts, because it's only gonna make it better. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. The sun will come out. I think I'm mixing up two songs. I'm gonna go. Bye. I'll see you tomorrow.